There's a cat. There's a cat in my background.
There's a cat in your back.
See, I have my own cat now, but it's not mine. But I
Yeah,
have
my
no
guys are off
on-screen
somewhere.
cat. Yeah, she
Mm-hmm.
wants. I mean, she does not want anything to do with me. That's Ruby, by the way. Ruby is the smaller of the two. She's big,
Okay.
but she's the smaller of the two. Woody is nowhere around here, but Woody is the one that Nick called. That's not a cat. That's a dog in a cat suit. He's huge. He's actually he went to the vet the other day and I forget what his weight was, but he's heavier than Mia. He
Jeez.
weighs more than Mia.
Mm-hmm.
He really truly is a dog in a cat suit. So hi everyone, welcome to GameHounds podcast. Me here
Hi.
with Nick. Sorry that it's been a little bit of a wait. We were once again trying to sort out my audio issues, and the good news is it's not the Scarlet. It's not the little red box that was supposed to fix everything, which it did. It's a computer, and when I imported all of my files from the old computer into the new computer, obviously they're the thing that whatever was causing it to be a problem was transferred over.
So,
So now I have to factory restore the old computer and then move the files over one by one.
okay, I was gonna say you got the new computer be-
Mhm.
partially because of these audio issues, right?
Uh-huh.
So now that you've discovered that whatever you transfer from the old computer, the disease has followed from the old computer to the new computer. So
Yes.
in theory, you could just keep the old one, figure out what file it is, and then you don't need the new one.
Oh no, I want the new one.
Okay, you're still gonna keep the new
Oh
one.
yeah, oh, I'm gonna keep the new one. Oh,
Okay, okay.
absolutely, because it's a really good computer. Um, but yeah, well, that means that the old computer isn't broken, which is great because I can factory restore that and give it to somebody else, which
Mm.
they need it, which is great. That's what I want to do. But it means I have to factory restore my old computer, which has to be done by our IT team because they have to add all of the security stuff into it. Because if
What?
I factory restore, then it's going to be a problem.
Oh, because it's a work computer?
That's why.
Oh. This is why you don't mix business and pleasure. Oh, wait. No, wait, Edie, maybe the disease isn't the audio just cut out. So maybe it is the Scarlet then? Oh,
Yeah.
I heard it. I learned a little bit of something. Eh. You're coming
Oh,
in like, oh,
okay.
okay, now you're
So
there. Now you're
it
there.
is.
Okay, wait. I don't know if you muted again or if you're just not talking. Anyways, uh welcome to the weekly audio issue prologue to the show. This always happens, but I think we're getting closer to a solution. Okay, I hear a little bit of proof of life. She's working on something. She is staring hard at the computer screen, deep in thought. Oh, she's nodding. She can still hear me. Okay. Oh, this is a chance, guys. What do you want to say about Edie? She can hear you, but she can't respond. She can't defend herself. Forget your life. Just hi. Hi back. How's it going? Hope you're having a good Saturday. Mine has gone pretty well. Just a bunch of games. I don't know if I should just get into games now. I have no idea how long this will take. It's audio issues in Edie, so it could go from like 2 minutes to 20 minutes.
I am back.
Okay.
All right. So we
20
have
seconds.
figured out it is the box.
The box that was supposed to fix everything.
The box is supposed to fix everything.
But I thought the box that was supposed to fix everything did fix everything for a while.
It did.
So
Apparently, there's
why
something
now?
not right. Now, maybe it's a bad driver. I don't know. There does have internal. Maybe it needs to be updated.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I
But
mean, you got that not that long ago.
and it's new.
It's gotta still be under warranty, so you
It's
can.
new. It's brand new.
Okay.
Yeah, it's less than a year old. So I don't know. The only other thing it could be is the headset, but I doubt that. I really, really doubt that. But now I know how to quickly fix it when it happens without having to leave the studio. Got it.
That's good. That's good.
Yep. Now that I know. Hi, I'm
Yeah.
back. AC
Yeah.
says I have my own tech issue. I renewed my Bitdefender using their renewal page. They gave me a second subscription instead, which shorts me to. Oh, that sucks. I hate
That
it when that
does.
happens.
Yeah. Chat said they'd fix it by the end of the day. They did not. We got an email that seems like they're still screwing us.
Oh, that
That
sucks.
really sucks.
Yeah.
Forget Your Life seems to be having a much better day. Started playing Arkham Asylum again. Great voice work. Yeah, that's good.
All right.
That's much better.
Let's hit some music, so the intro music, and then we can start the show while the cat licks her ass because that's what cats do. God, cats
Oh,
are
yeah, of
disgusting.
course.
All right.
And then you know what she's gonna do with that tongue afterwards? She's gonna come over to you and lick your face.
No, she is not. All right. Let's hit the music.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 774. We are recording this on Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. I'm Edie Sellers, and with me is Nick Nicola. He just held
Howdy.
up 3
I got 3 new sodas.
new sodas.
Well, not new. We've gotten to the point where we're repeating some again.
Right. Well, we have a choice today of black olive, pumpkin pie, or coffee. I think black olive.
Okay.
Because I'm curious to know
Color-wise-
what actual flavor it is, because we know it's not black olive.
Yeah, color-wise, it looks like it could just be a Coke.
Pumpkin pie is going to be orange soda.
That would be the dream.
Yeah. I mean, if you hold all 3 back up, and let's guess what the flavors would be. So I think pumpkin pie is definitely orange.
Yeah.
So-
Also, like for these two, the glasses are dark colored, which makes the liquid look even darker.
Right. I think that black olive is probably either root beer or soda. I think coffee is going to be root beer, and I think that cola is going to be black olive.
Okay.
All right, so I'm voting black olive. Anybody?
Okay. Yeah. Anyone chat have any disagreements? In the meantime,
yeah,
we can start talking about games. I think
Yes.
we've been playing the same thing.
You're finally playing Crusader Kings 2?
No. Playing Kingdom Come 2.
I mean, I'm sorry. Kingdom Come.
I also played some Avowed, and I can talk about that later. But
Good.
yeah, I put significant time into Kingdom Come.
Okay. So where are you at in the story? AC Ray says there's less thrill about the sodas when we know it's not going to poison Nick's taste buds. Yeah, the fact that we're not going to get that reaction of him actually tasting black olive. All right, he is drinking. He is evaluating.
It's not Coke. It's less sugary than Coke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there is like maybe a taste of something that thinks it's olive, but not.
Really? Oh.
Like if an alien tried to make an olive flavored soda, but didn't actually understand what olives taste like, this could be what they come up with, and we're like, oh yeah, that's it. Like imagine Coke, but with no sugar.
Okay. So it could be a cola, just a bit not what we're used to Coca-Cola. It might be like an Archie Cola.
It could be. There's like a slight little bitterness to the cola.
Okay.
And that's kind of where the olive taste comes from, is that little bit of bitterness. Yeah, that's it. A slightly bitter soda.
So, all right. According
But
to
yeah.
AC Wraith, Discord says that you're still playing Avowed.
Yes, I'm on. I linked the Xbox to and Discord, and Avowed is currently paused.
Hmm.
I was playing that this morning.
So,
Oh yes, you asked
let's
how
talk.
far I was.
Where are you at in Kingdom Come Deliverance?
I'm still in the starting area because it's a pretty big starting area.
Hmm.
Um, I'm about to really get into exploring Apollonia because a bunch of quests.
Apollonia?
Yeah, a bunch of quests are taking me over there. It's an area to the east. It's very mountainous, very rocky.
Oh wow, I haven't even gotten there yet.
Oh, okay. I'm kind
Have
of
you gotten Mutt back yet? I haven't gotten Mutt back yet.
I'm currently in the middle of the Mutt quest. I'm at
Oh,
one of
okay.
the places way up north. But to
Yes.
do one of those, you had to like circle this pond or circle
Yes.
this lake, and I did that. Got a bunch of quests along there. I
Yes.
painted the bowl.
You did what?
I painted the bowl.
The bowl?
Bull.
Oh, I didn't do that, painting a bowl.
Oh,
Okay.
have you met the bowl guy?
No, I met the shepherd that made me take his ram, the stupidest ram he had, to use it as bait for wolves so I could kill the wolves.
Oh, interesting. I haven't found that.
Oh, yeah, that's part
What?
of the Mud Quest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one of the very first quests I got was like up in uh Tach Tachov, where the blacksmith is. So okay, in short, what's kind of fun about this game is how it justifies resetting all your skill points.
Mhm.
That in the beginning you start with like a level 16 Henry who's got a whole bunch of skills, and then some shit goes bad, you fall from a great height, and as part of that, the game is like, you had a bad fall. You need to recover. All your skills are reset, so you got to work your way back up.
Yeah, yeah.
From there, in this opening area, you get a main quest of I need to talk to like the lord of this area, the lord
Mhm.
of the castle.
Right.
He's going to be at a local wedding in a couple weeks. I need to get an invite to that wedding. And you kind of have two main paths to do it. You can talk to the miller or you can talk to the blacksmith, and they will each give you a series of quests that eventually let you get an invite to the wedding. I'm doing the blacksmith's
I'm
quest.
doing 2 as well.
Okay. Yeah, one of his quests eventually takes you to Apollonia.
Okay, so
And
I
I
haven't done
found
any
that
of
some
that.
other ones are too.
I've immediately focused on Mutt.
Mm,
Have you fought wolves yet?
I have fought wolves.
Yeah, you can't just go in and start bashing things because the wolves will kill you. You have to you do absolutely have to use the perfect block system in order to beat wolves.
Yes. And I have found that that is kind of combat as
Easy
a whole,
is
is that
way easier.
you want to be more conservative. Like you don't want to get aggressive. You want to respond.
Right.
Have you learned the Master Strike?
No.
Ooh, do you know Tomcat?
No.
Jesus Christ, what have you been doing?
Trying to get Mutt.
Um, there are various ways that you can get Tomcat, but Tomcat will teach you the Master Strike.
Oh, yes. Have not met Tomcat. I was told to go get combat training from him, but I didn't
Mm,
actually do it.
yeah. So he'll teach you the Master Strike, and that's a cool technique because so normally what happens is it that's a technique that really takes advantage of the positioning. So
Uh-huh.
normally how in combat what works is uh in the beginning the position doesn't really matter too much because when someone attacks you can perfect block and riposte, and that doesn't really affect that perfect block and riposte isn't affected by the position of the sword.
Right.
But with the Master Strike, what happens is if you're opposite of, as long as you keep your sword opposite your enemies, when they attack you, instead of doing a perfect block, if you hit the attack button, you'll do a Master Strike, which basically is like a super parry that then damages them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a riposte, but whereas ripostes are often blocked by the enemy, the Master Strike is not.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get really good at that, you can like poke, 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 you're dead. and it feels really good, but it's also like you got to pay a lot more attention to combat. And Tomcat is also really, really helpful because he just kind of explains a couple basics of the combat that otherwise the game doesn't and otherwise are kind of unintuitive. Like in a combo, the game, there's a whole combo system in games where like, oh, you hit once from the right, then from the left, then from the right. And so I thought that means I'm always having to, with the control stick, move right, left, right. But it doesn't, because the way the combo system works is if you hit in one position, the game will automatically go to that next position. So, excuse me.
If you hit left, your hand is going to be now right. Or if you hit right, your hand is now going to be right. So it's going to assume that you're going to go right to left. So right to left, left to right, right to left.
Yes, like the game kind of keeps track of the position of your arm in a swing. So when you attack from the right,
essentially
it ends on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's intuitive in a way that's not intuitive for video games.
Right. Yeah.
And so what Tomcat says is if you do a combo and all of them get blocked, that's still effective. So if you start a combo and the guy blocks it, don't stop that combo. Like you can keep going and probably get a hit at the end of it. And even if you don't, that takes off a lot of their stamina. And so, because I ran into a bandit with a shield just by wandering around, and I spent an hour reloading the saves and trying to kill this guy. And I couldn't, because I kept trying to like get past the shield and he kept blocking me. And I didn't quite understand how to manage stamina and stuff. But after talking with Tomcat, I think I have a much better sense of how to fight.
All right. Well, then maybe I need to go by Tomcat because I mean, combat is very much a struggle for me. There's, like you said, there's a lot of like reloading. So I'm not making very fast progress on this game simply because I'm having to reload so much.
There was after fighting that bandit and eventually just running away because I couldn't beat him. I ran across a bandit camp, but all of those bandits didn't have armor. They didn't have shields. So what I ended up doing is sneaking up to them, choking one out, and then like fighting one at a time while I'm in full armor. They aren't. I like walk up to a guy, stab him in his sleep, walk up to another guy. Oh, he's
and that's the other thing. I don't have a dagger on me. So if you don't have a dagger.
Oh, I don't have a dagger either.
Really? Because every time I've tried to sneak up on somebody and do something and even just choke them out, it's like, no, you have to have a dagger to do it. It's like, well, fuck.
You don't need a dagger to choke someone.
Yeah, that's what I
dagger to kill them.
All right. So I'll have to go back and try that again because it kept saying to me that I needed to be able to have a dagger in me to allow me to do a sneak attack at all.
Yeah, you can choke them with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know. All right.
But yeah, there's so much of this game that kind of feels like that. Oh, what did you do? Oh, what did you do? When did you stumble upon this quest? When did you stumble upon this quest?
Yeah. That's the nature of this game. And Kingdom Come to this is why I love this game, and this is why I am so unbelievably happy to finally have this game again. Simply because of that.
So I had another great moment that to me highlighted what this game what sets this game apart from all the other games. And like when you look at this, it's such a mechanically dense game. Like it's less RPG and more medieval life simulator.
Yeah.
But what's cool about that is, so one morning, like I wanted to get some sleep in this guy's hut, that I had slept at before. I wasn't caught. I slept in there again, and someone woke me up, and I was like, shit. I didn't get a full sleep, so I'm at like 75% health. But I was just in city, and I want to like go around and talk to people, complete some quests. And this was in like Chekhov. How do you pronounce it?
Tachkov.
Techkov, which is like kind of the main city. And so this is far enough into the game that like I had collected a whole bunch of food and stuff in the beginning, but I didn't really eat it because I didn't need to, which is kind of what I like about this game is that the sim elements aren't overbearing. That
Mm-mm.
you don't need to really worry too much about like um uh running out of health or no, running out of nourishment. Like you don't need to constantly drink water and constantly eat food. It's
Right.
just something that's there in the background that adds some flavor to
If you
the plot.
don't eat in a day, you're going to be hungry. But you don't have to eat 3 times a day. And if you
Exactly.
eat too much, then you're over full, and then you'll have to take a nap in order for that to go away.
Yeah. Well, so at this point, I woke up, I'm beginning my day, and I'm looking at my inventory, and I'm like, shit, I got a whole bunch of expired food. And so I'm like dropping it, drop. And I'm like, well, this wolf meat is dried. It says like nourishment 0, but it's dried. So what happens if I eat it? And so I ate one, and it gave me a bit of food poisoning. And I was like, okay, well, we'll drop that. That's whatever. And I went on with my day. Went like did some alchemy, talked to some shopkeepers, did some shopping and all that. And then as I'm walking through the city, someone is like, "Boy, what happened to you?" I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, boy, you look like hell. It's like, what? And I realize I'm at half health. Like,
Mhm.
oh shit. This food poisoning is actually poisoning me.
Food poisoning you.
And and then I'm like, okay, the food poisoning is gonna wear off eventually. I'm just gonna power through it. And so I keep going around, keep doing some stuff, and then a little bit later, my vision starts to turn red. And I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh, I'm in
Oh,
trouble. I'm in
oh,
real
this
trouble.
this is bad. I'm not feeling good. And I'm like, I just need a place to sleep. I just need a place to sleep, but there's no inn in Tatchoff, at least
Right,
not that I know of. So
right.
I'm like, oh fuck, where am I gonna go? I just need a place to sleep. I just need a nap. So I'm running around town looking for a bed, and I can see my health go like 10. And I run around a little bit, bring up the menu again, 9. Bring up a HP 8. I'm like, oh fuck. And then I realized, oh, but I've got some fresh water on me. So, okay, I'm just going to take a couple swigs of water, get like 10 health back. And that gave me time to wander around and go back to the camp that the guy woke me up from.
Mhm.
Because I can see his tent and I can see him working the field. And I'm like, I could get in a little power nap and he'll never know. He's working the field. He's doing his job. So I went into his tent and napped for like 4 hours. Woke up around noon, food poisoning gone. I'm at like 50% health. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good. But it was just that that took like an hour of
Mhm.
real lifetime.
Mhm.
But that was just a little story of, oh shit, I gave myself food poisoning. I thought it was okay. I wasn't okay. I need a bed. Where can I find a bed? And it's like all the mechanics kind of came together for this one very mundane but also life-threatening event that was like, dude, I just need a bed. Where can I find a bed? I just need someplace to sit down. And it felt strangely real of like, oh fuck, I just need someplace to sit. Can I sit here? No. Oh, okay. Fuck, I'm gonna die if I don't find someplace to rest. And like that was so much fun of just, oh shit, I gave myself food poisoning and almost killed myself.
Mhm. It's the game. It's the what was it? FAFO? It's the FAFO game.
Mm-hmm.
If you just like, hey, it's 0. This is spoiled food. I wonder what will happen if I eat it.
It's like, yeah,
Well,
what?
you're gonna fuck around and find out. And you just lost an hour of your life in this game
I
running
mean,
around from that one poor choice that you
I
made.
I I got a lot done in the game. It's just I almost died.
Yeah. I just so love
It's
this
a
game.
good thing I had that water on me, and now I make it a point.
Oh, yeah.
Always carry water.
I'm gonna get water from now on. I'm gonna constantly carry that.
Get some drinking water. Although, what I also did
Mm.
is one of the first things I did afterwards is go to the apothecary and buy the recipe for marigold decoction.
Well, don't you get the recipe for marigold decoction
I didn't.
from the old lady? I did. She gave it to
Oh.
me.
Oh, I didn't.
When at the very beginning, the old lady that you essentially get found by, or that Hans Capon brings you to an old lady in the woods who heals
Mhm.
you, right? And so Hans is really sick now, and then you've got to go get essentially how to make marigold decoction, and she gives you the recipe for marigold decoction. It's in your book. You didn't have to make a potion for Hans.
I did,
Then didn't you already had the
but
recipe?
well, every time I looked, I didn't have it. So I ended up buying a recipe
Oh,
anyways.
okay, yeah.
Well,
I've been making strong marigold decoction all the way along.
yes, that was also very helpful because those are health potions.
Right, right. But they only really work very well when you take a nap. They're not like a health potion, like you take it and it goes up. It heals you very,
No,
very slowly.
that's the chamomile decoction.
Oh, that's what
That's
it
right.
was.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that makes more
Marigold
sense.
decoction.
Yeah, marigold is a straight up health potion.
Okay, all right, then I gotta get that one.
And so yeah, I bought that and then I loaded up on those because I realized shit can happen.
Yeah, shit can happen very quickly. All it takes
Mhm.
is a wild dog pack, and you're fucked. So, so yeah, unbelievably fun game. It's such a it is it what's I love best about it is that it is, if you want to escape your life, like
Mm,
pure escapism, and feel like you are in a different reality, in a different place, that's what this game feels like. It's transportive.
yeah.
Sometimes you will play games like, I don't ever feel like I'm in the world of Diablo when I'm playing Diablo, but I feel like I am in the world. Like this is a living place.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that reminds me of one of the other things that I kind of realized as I was playing is all of the quests are, at least some of them, a lot of them are linked together in various ways. Like I said, Apollonia is where a bunch of quests are taking me. And I got a quest from the blacksmith that was like, go find this hermit who lives in Apollonia because he's got some good blacksmithing resources on him. But then as you talk to other people, they talk about, oh yeah, there's a hermit who lives in Apollonia who sold the soul to the devil, and I can see apparitions around here. And then that's the start of a new quest, but those two quests link up. And what I find is that a lot of quests do that, where you'll start one quest in one town and
Mhm,
another quest in another town, and they
mhm.
both end up pointing you to the same thing.
Yes, I had the same. That's what the shepherd who saw the wolves, or and might have seen a dog with the wolf pack in
Hmm.
my quest to find Mutt, and he gave me I think it was, it Ignatius? It's not Ignatius, it's something like that. His ram, his stupid ram, to go with him to use as bait to bring the wolves there. Um, uh he was pointed out to me by about 3 or 4 different people for
Mm,
different quests.
hmm.
I was like, "Hey, there's a shepherd down there who is having problems with wolves. You need to go see him." And they're just like picking off all of his sheep. And then later on, it's like, okay, I'll do that later. And then I need to find Mutt. And then the process of finding Mutt, he's like, well, there's the shepherd I've heard about down the way who's actually having a problem with wolves. He may have actually seen a dog. I heard something about him might possibly seeing a dog with those wolves. So it's like it's almost in a way like a living world. It's like people all know each other, and they
Yeah,
all know each other's stories, and they all gossip to each other. So it's like, oh yeah, I heard about this guy that does this. And it's
yeah.
everybody's talking about that same guy.
Yeah, it's like the news spreads. And
Right.
if there's something important happening in one town, other people in the neighboring towns will know about it. And it
Right.
just lends the whole place this really deeply intricate connectedness. Yeah, everything feels like it's connected to everyone else. Everyone feels like they know everyone else or know of everyone
They
else.
know everyone else in their immediate area, but at
Yeah.
a certain point, they don't know anything about
Yeah, yeah.
anybody.
But like they hear, oh yeah, I heard something about something up there. And it's
Right,
like, oh, if there's a big enough event, like that news spreads. And
right.
like coming from other open world RPGs where it's like, oh yeah, this thing over there is done by quest guy over here.
Mhm.
No one else is going to talk about that quest but the quest giver.
Right,
And it's like, oh yeah, it's a standard RPG. You go to quest giver, you do the quest, and that's
right,
it. But it's
right.
this very uh uh secluded, this very like episodic adventure. And
Mhm.
that's not this game. This game is kind of all about that interconnectedness, all about that. Yeah, that it lends it a quality that other open worlds don't have. Like I said, it's not an RPG, it's a life simulator.
It is a medieval life simulator in a very much of a living world with a lot of thought put into it.
Yeah.
A lot of thought. So, yeah, I mean, once again, Warhorse Studios has absolutely hit it out of the park. Absolutely everything I loved about the first game is here, and it's everything I was not so crazy about in the first game is gone.
Although I will say, I have as someone who has had a 4K TV for several years, the game doesn't really look all that better than the first one. I think,
Oh, really?
and
Well, I think so. I think well, then
and
again,
also
it's not fair to compare.
there are tons of like visual jank that happens,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when I'm in the alchemy bench brewing. It's like when I have to distill something, he takes the distiller and moves it over and pours. It's like A, nothing pours out of the cauldron.
Uh-huh.
B, those two things aren't even lined up. So even if something was pouring, it wouldn't fall in there. But he just moves it, pours, moves it back, and it's like, okay, I don't know what was supposed to happen, but it didn't happen. And then there's like a weird every time, so like your bases are all lined up on one shelf to your left,
Mhm.
and it's like water, oil, spirits, and something else. Every
Why?
single time I go to the one on the far left, it's like the world dims, like it suddenly turned
Interesting.
night. And then when I go to the one next to it, everything brightens up again. And I remember that happening in the first game too. It's like,
Really?
this is so weird. This,
I have
but
not seen that bug, and it's weird that you would have that bug twice in 2 different games.
yeah, I mean, it's just a visual bug. It doesn't impact
Yeah, but I didn't
the
have that bug.
gameplay. Interesting. I have it running on performance mode. And maybe that's why it's not showing me all the
Yeah, I don't
super
have it
special
running.
graphics, because I tried doing it on graphical mode. I don't really notice a difference between them, but on performance mode it runs at 60 FPS and it just feels so much smoother. Um so maybe I should put it to graphics and see if the visual bugs work themselves out in
Right,
any way.
right. So, anyway,
Yeah, very cool
what
game
else
though.
what else are you playing?
I as was talked about earlier, I was playing Avowed all through this morning.
Mhm.
And
And?
it's hard to come to Avowed from Kingdom Come because they are two very, very different games.
Uh-huh.
Avowed is way more gamey, way more arcade, way more streamlined of an RPG experience. It is not a life simulator. Uh and I say this specifically, what was throwing me for a loop was loot.
Mhm.
In Kingdom Come, you loot everybody. Everybody
Yes.
that you see has items on them.
They're gonna have a little bit of money or a bandage or maybe some food. Yeah, everybody's got something in his pockets.
Every time you see a dead body, you strip that sucker clean because you can sell the armor, you can sell the items, whatever. You strip them.
Mhm.
Avowed, in the very beginning, you come to this uh port, and there's a whole like this outpost, and there's a bunch of dead bodies on the ground. And I ran up to every dead body thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to loot it. I'm going to loot it." Wait, why can't I loot it? Oh, yeah, this is a different game.
Mhm.
And so in Avowed, all the loot is like there's sparkly stuff around it. So that when you're just wandering around the world, you can see exactly what you can interact with at any time.
Mhm.
You kill a bunch of enemies and you look and you see, oh, that guy's got a sparkly thing around him. That guy doesn't. You can go loot something from the sparkly body, but not the other one. It's just much more limited in scope, right? Because it's not a simulator. It's just more of a loot-based RPG.
Yeah.
So once I kind of started to realize that, I'm like, okay, this is a much more streamlined experience. It was way more. It was fun in a different way because the combat feels really good. The combat feels like a arcadey first-person shooter. And you have a really impressive variety of weapons. In the 2 hours or something that I played, I got a sword and shield. I got a pistol and a long gun.
Mhm.
I got a bow and arrow and a wand and a grimoire. And the
Mhm.
wand and grimoires are different types of magic. And what's cool is you can mix and match almost any of those. So
Mhm.
you can put a shield and a sword in one hand. You can do a shield and a wand. You can do a shield and a grimoire to like block and then cast magic. You can do in other hands, you can do a pistol and a shield. You can do a pistol and a sword. You can do a pistol and a wand. Some obviously are two-handed, like the long gun and the bow and arrow are two-handed weapons. But you have two different loadouts that you switch between with a button press. So that means you can have a long range loadout. So I've got like my big long gun equipped,
Mhm.
and then I use that to snipe at people. And then as soon as they see me, I can, with a button press, switch to my next close range loadout, get out a wand and a grimoire or a wand and a shield or something like that to get up close and fight. And it just within the first 2 hours, I can see that there's such a wild variety of combat possibilities here that I'm really excited to get around and play with. So that's going for it, right? This combat, it's fast, it's fun, it's like, ooh, it wants you to feel like a badass, which is very different from Kingdom Come, where it's like, okay,
Where you do not feel like a badass
I
at
need to
all at any time.
back up and I need to watch him and I need to pay attention. This game is much more block, dodge, blast him with some shit. So it's like much more fast paced and arcadey, which is cool in a very different way. Uh, the story so far is interesting, if only because the premise of the game is interesting. That's kind of all I've gotten so far. You are an envoy from, big fantasy kingdom in the south.
Mhm.
You have been sent north into this like lawless wild west lands place called the Living Lands. And the Living Lands is being overtaken by this like weird disease where it's turning the animals crazy, it's turning people crazy. It's like The Last of Us, where you've got these mushrooms that grow out of people and eventually turns them crazy. And this is starting to spread across the Living Lands. And so you are sent as an envoy to basically explore what the hell is going on out here. It's kind of like what is it? Rome and England. Well, like, oh, I'm an envoy from Rome and I've been sent to England because there's a mysterious disease and you have to figure out what's going on.
Mhm.
And so far, it's a really interesting premise. I think the writing has been really good. I've only met a few characters, but right away you're faced with this dilemma of, oh, do I let this person out of a jail cell or not? And it's a simple dilemma, but the way it's written, it's like, okay, I'm not sure if I trust you or not. This is interesting. Um, and depending on your background, just within like I said, the first 2 hours, I chose the background of a scholar, and that has influenced almost every single conversation I've had with people, where I have a conversation option that specifically relates to me being a scholar. It's like, oh, because I'm a scholar, this is my opinion on things. And so it's interesting to think that almost every other background would have a unique piece of dialogue choice in that moment. It's like, oh, this is just a cool way of incorporating your background into the story, of acknowledging that you are this fictional person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry. I'm very intrigued by Avowed because it is in that same similar vein of that sword and shield world, but at the same time, this is a more of that kind of classic RPG magic wielding game, and
Yes.
I love Kingdom Come Deliverance, but there is that times that I really wish I did feel like a badass because it is sometimes such a demoralizing feeling in that game. Like you're you're getting your ass handed to you by like a dog or just something absolutely stupid that you should be beating and it doesn't happen and it's so hard sometimes where you realize I've been sitting playing this game for 3 hours and I've barely moved the story along. So I don't want to start another game. I barely have enough time to even play Kingdom Come Deliverance right now. But I really, really, really want to play Avowed. But how does it feel? How does it feel to play still? Is it smooth? Is it not smooth? Nick, are you gone?
Okay.
Am I gone?
I tried to just switch out my microphone.
You're no longer in your headset, by the way. Now you're having audio issues. Great. This is fantastic. So I'm sorry. I'm checking in on the girl child. She's in a tournament right now. All right. So what just happened there? And now I've lost you. Can you hear me? No. Hold up. There we go. I don't think it's me. I think it's you.
No, it's me.
Okay.
My headphone was running out of batteries, so I thought I could just plug the cable in, and I thought I could do it nice and smooth and not interrupt anything. But then I forgot that I had to switch. There's a switch on the side that you have to go from wireless to wired. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, what were you saying?
I was asking you, how does the combat actually feel? Is it satisfying?
Yes.
It looks like it is.
It feels really good. It's faster than you think it is, especially coming from Kingdom Come, which is kind of defined by its slowness. So that took some getting used to, but once you kind of wrap your head around the speed, it feels really good.
Mhm.
Switching loadouts feels really good. The fact that you can have a build based on blocking, or you can have a build based on dodging. So, like in this video here, the character doesn't have a shield; they have a grimoire and a sword. So,
Mhm.
if someone's going to attack them, they can't block it, like not effectively. But you have a dodge that moves. Like that dodge makes you jump 15 feet in
Yeah,
one
and I
direction or
noticed that
another.
someone can actually launch you 15 feet as well.
Yeah. The physics are a little gamey. Like I said, a lot of it's gamey. But it feels really good in the moment. The movement, the hitting, like when you connect with a weapon, it feels good. When you're casting magic to set someone on fire, it feels good. The fire, burns them really well. One like mini boss I encountered, I just kind of set him on fire in the beginning and then dodged for the next 30 seconds until he just burned to death. And that was satisfying. Yeah, it feels really, really good. Part of this is the parkour as well. there's a very heavy parkour element to this game. You're going to be climbing on a bunch of stuff, and it feels really good when you're moving and you're jumping. That kind of first person climbing and jumping around feels fine. At no point do I feel like I'm jumping too far. At no point does it feel like, oh, I should have made that jump, but I couldn't. But AC Wraith, happy to know, there is a third person. And I've played in some of the third person because you get to see your character, you get to see all the clothes, and that's always fun. And it feels pretty good. It feels better than Skyrim did way back in the day, which is kind of like the comparison point for a lot of this game.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, it does in many ways remind me of Skyrim. Oh gosh, I really
like I
want to
said,
play this game. I really want to play this game now.
It's more streamlined. Like from the beginning, it doesn't have an open world like Skyrim. It has open zones. And so, like in the beginning, you have a tiny little outpost, but then you get to the first big city. And what's interesting is you land at the port to that city, and you're immediately given a quest that says, go out and find the ambassador. But when you look at the map, your quest kind of takes you into the wilderness. The city is over here, and it's huge. Like it's a giant part of the map. And so, like, you get to the big city, and the first quest immediately takes you out of the city. So, like, there's a lot there to explore. And even though these are open zones, there is still, at least with this first zone, there seems to be really interesting balance between wilderness areas and city areas. Well, I imagine I'll be doing more talking than fighting. Yeah, Forget Your Life says it looks exactly like Skyrim.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It might look like it, but it feels so different. The combat especially feels so much more complicated in interesting ways. Skyrim was really just whack, whack, whack. Whack with a sword, maybe block a bit, whack with a sword, block a bit. Like, combat in Skyrim wasn't really all that interesting. This is interesting, thoughtful combat where you kind of have to make interesting tactical decisions in the moment about what skill to use, what loadout to use, what weapon to use in a way that's really interesting.
Corey Wallace said, I thought it was ESO before I looked at the banner. It's yeah, right up there.
I mean, I think that Obsidian and Bethesda, at least with their first person RPGs, they definitely have a similar style that they're working from, like a similar template. This has the Oblivion, Skyrim, Bethesda-esque, oh, you're in conversation with someone, focus the camera on them, and then focus the camera on us, then focus the camera on them. Like it has that kind of super back and forth, cut to every character camera that defines the Bethesda game.
Right. And AC Wraith wants to know, because, AC Wraith has a problem with first person games. He says, how's the third person in Avowed?
It is good. I actually like it. And I like the first person combat, but I think I like the third person for wandering around the city. So thankfully it's easy enough to switch. You just switch through the menu and you don't have to reset the game or anything. So it's nice that it's that easy.
Nice.
Corey says that's why you use magic. You don't have to whack anything unless you hit them with your stick. I'm playing at this point more of like a distance character. I've got a long gun in one loadout, and then a grimoire and a wand in another loadout. Oh, and what's nice is that with the guns, with the bow and arrow, you don't have to worry about ammo. Just, hey, if it's a long gun, it might take a while to reload. If it's a handgun, it might take a while to reload. If it's a bow, shooting it uses some of your stamina, but you don't have to worry about ammo. Like it's just not a consideration. It's really, really nice for a game like this that is so streamlined.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely down for this game. I'm definitely want to play it, and I definitely will be playing it.
Throw the book at them.
Throw the
Literally.
grimoire at them. Yeah. All right. So, as much as I would love to continue and make this another 4-hour show, do want to give you a quick, like, little bit of information. I woke up at 5:30 this morning. So if you see me yawning, it's because I am genuinely tired and I do need to take a nap very badly. So,
Okay. Okay.
do you mind if we hit the news?
No, not at all. That's all I played.
All
Really.
right. Perfect. All right then. Hold on a second and let's wait for it, the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie and Nick DiNicola. And our first item is what is it?
What do you have?
Oh, all right. Let's do me first.
Yeah.
This is a story that I meant to talk about last week, but I didn't get a chance to do it. Hold on a second. Let me get to the right banner up here. Stand by. There we go. I had it on my list to do last week because it was a story from 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, I was having issues and I couldn't get any of my stuff because I was having computer issues and audio issues and stuff like that. So I'm bringing it up now. Do you remember? I forgot to do the banner. Do you remember back when they had the fires down in LA? And somebody flew a drone and hit a Canadian plane called the Super Scooper that essentially is like a big plane that can just come in, pull water, and then dump massive amounts of water. It's an absolutely essential. The Canadian government sent it down to us here in California to fight those horrible fires down in Los Angeles. You remember hearing about that? That
Yeah.
somebody flew a drone and crashed it into the Super Scooper and took it out of commission for a day and a half, 2 days, which was critical. 2 days to not have one of the strongest weapons they had against that fire. Guess who it was?
John Riccatello.
Oh God, wouldn't that be great? No, it was not John Riccatello. They did
Quack. Box.
Yes. No, it's not
Don Matrick.
Was not Don Matrick. So the guy that was flying the drone that hit a plane. Now that is a massive violation of FAA rules. On top of it, the fact that they were saying, do not fly your drones anywhere near this fire because we have so many aircraft in the air fighting this fire. Don't do this. It's a bad idea. And if we see a drone in the air, we have to ground our aircraft. And you are essentially killing people. Well, somebody fucked around and found out. They found the guy who ran into the plane doing damage to it. This was the Palisades fire. So this was like the one that was, both of them are bad.
The big one.
It was a guy named Peter Ackerman. He is a former UC Berkeley PhD. And he, let me see if I can, let's see. He flew he drove to Santa Monica's 3rd Street Promenade. And then he launched his drone from the top of a parking garage, intending to observe the fire. This is according to SF Gate news site. He flew the device 1.5 miles and lost sight of it before it crashed into the Super Scooper, their amphibious plane. He punched a 3x6-inch hole into the left wing, not an insubstantial hole into it. The repairs cost $65,000, which they found the guy had to do it. Ackerman is not only a mathematics PhD, he co-founded Treyarch Studios before selling it to Activision in 2020. He founded it. Co-founded. He's one of the co-founders of Treyarch.
Wow.
Went on to lead development on the Call of Duty franchise.
Huh.
He also founded a studio called The Workshop, which was bought by Skydance in 2016, 8 years after it was founded. And he ran Skydance's interactive division as president, at least as of April 2018. So, yeah, he was a prominent, I mean, he's a co-founder of Treyarch, was the head of development of the Call of Duty franchise, at least for a period of time. So, yeah. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Well, he did not go to jail. He should have. But he did have to do 150 hours of community service for wildfire relief. And he did have to pay the $65,000, which to him doesn't even register, which is a shame. I mean, that is a blatant FAA violation that should be, I mean, they shut down companies for doing that. And this guy essentially is getting off with a slap on the wrist. So it makes me mad. As a former drone operator, that gives drone operators a bad name.
So
Is
did he have a
jackasses like this.
did he have a camera on the drone?
Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was taking, he was doing, keep doing. See, the
Well,
problem is that you remember when we had the fire up in Santa Rosa, where they wiped out an entire neighborhood, and then there was this really famous video of this guy that took a drone shot of the whole area, and like there would be you could see a post office vehicle like driving through the neighborhood where there were no more post boxes. And it was a really impactful video of being able to see the damage that was done. Ever since then, people want that video so they can go fucking viral.
Mm-hmm.
Because that video went viral. So everybody is trying to get that perfect shot of absolute destruction.
Yeah.
And of course, that's what he thought it was a great idea to go to drive to the fire.
Yeah, to do it explicitly
And then
is definitely a
fly
little
a
much.
mile and a half to get there.
Because, like, on one hand, I do get that because the drones provide you with the perfect bird's eye view level of things. Like, you really get a sense of
Right.
the scale of it, and like it's just
But it's
hey,
tourism.
bird's eye view.
What it is, it's tourism. It's gawking. And the thing is
Mhm.
that you don't wait. One, they say straight out, don't do this because when we see a drone, we have to ground aircraft. And if
Yes.
we ground aircraft, people die and their houses burn. And this is someone who's like, I don't fucking care. I want to see. And it's like that's the absolute callousness, the absolute almost sociopathic meism about that it is more important for me. I am not accepting that people are dying and people's lives are being destroyed. I'm more interested. I'm just going to go up and fly just because I'm kind of curious. My need to see this is more important than actually considering the implications of what I'm doing, especially when it's not like they don't really make it obvious you shouldn't do it. There's signs everywhere. Don't fly drones. That's the first thing that they do in these fires now is they put up those big, like lighted signs on the side of the road.
Yeah.
No drones. But people do it anyway. And it's the fact that it was somebody in gaming was like, really? That guy? He certainly should be smart enough not to know that. This is not some stupid jackass. This is just somebody who's fucking sociopathic.
There's a lot of drones in Call of Duty are really powerful. You can do a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah.
I can totally see him being like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take my drone out.
Right. But this isn't a video game, guy.
Yeah.
This is real life. These are real people. This is you getting in the way of rescue of a firefighting effort that's trying to stop a fire that's killing people. This is not a video game. So that's what I mean by sociopathic. That his need to gawk, to be a tourist to tragedy was more important than him actually thinking about. Well, he thought he was too smart. He thought he was smarter than that.
Yeah.
I'm too smart to actually have the rules apply to me. Anyway, sorry to go off about that. Just makes me fucking mad.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, you don't have to be smart. See, that's, you know what? This is
Yeah.
one of the problems with really smart people is they think that they're smarter than everybody else. So therefore the rules don't apply to them. But here's the thing, if you're really smart, you know the rules do apply to you.
The Dunning-Kruger.
Dunning-Kruger effect. Yep. Anyway, so that was my first bit of news that I want. And I only bring it up because it is at this point so old.
Mhm.
But it was something that I heard and in the news and was like, really? It was the founder of Treyarch and the head of development for Call of Duty. Wow, that's kind of fucking stupid. Was a thing. Anyway, that's my first item. Next item.
Well, I'll start with what I think was kind of the biggest and more frustrating news of the week. Microsoft unveiled an AI tool for game development they called Muse.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about this is that they say it's a first of its kind generative AI model. And when they talk about it, it's interesting. Basically, it is a AI model that can understand a 3D game world and game physics and can react to how players interact with the game. In the demonstration that they showed off,
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft says that they trained this model based off of Ninja Theory's pre-2020 multiplayer game Bleeding Edge, which didn't really go anywhere. It wasn't a popular game. It kind of came and went without much fanfare. But the servers are still up, so it is still playable. And apparently some people are playing it. Enough people are playing it that they could use that gameplay to train an AI model.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about this model is how it works. It's like, oh, you can type in a prompt, generate some gameplay, and then you can like drag and drop images into the model, and it will incorporate those into a game world. Oh, you want to bring in a crate. Oh, I can drag that into the model, and now it puts a crate into the game world. And it's like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Until
it becomes a Nazi, right?
no, until you realize what it actually is.
Uh-huh.
And then you hear what Phil Spencer and Satya Nadella.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget his name. I keep wanting to say Nutella, and maybe I'll start doing it just to
Just
be a
call him
dick.
Satya Nutella. It's fine.
Satya Nutella are saying about this
Mm-hmm.
because it's all bullshit. So what this model actually does, it doesn't create interactive environments.
Okay.
It doesn't create an environment.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't create a player model. It doesn't create 3D models. It creates a video. It creates a video of generated gameplay with simulated controller inputs. So you say, generate me this gameplay, and it will generate a video of that gameplay along with a set of simulated inputs that would be, this is what the player is doing to control the person on screen. So on one hand, in terms of AI progression, this is actually a really significant step in AI's understanding of how controls interact with player movement, interact with the game world, and the ability to generate a representation of that, like on the fly, is
What? Who said what? Who said what? Who said what?
Corey Wallace says the title of the episode, Sad Nutella Bullshit.
And it's being changed as we speak. As we speak.
So, like, that's an impressive step forward for AI models. In terms of its usefulness in game development, that is a much bigger question. Like, on one hand, the pitch that Sadia gives, the pitch that Phil Spencer gives, and the pitch that the head of Ninja Theory gives are very different.
Right.
Let me see if I can find Ninja Theory's specific response, because they well, anyways, the guy from Ninja Theory, the developer, is saying, oh yeah, this will help us with ideation, with coming up with ideas, seeing how things interact. We can iterate on ideas a lot faster. Oh,
thank you, AC
thank
Ray.
you, AC Wraith. Yeah, technology like this for me and for our studio here at Ninja Theory is not about using AI to generate content, but is about creating workflows and approaches that allow our team of 100 creative experts to go further, iterate quicker, ideate quicker,
Yeah,
to
that's
bring
what
the
I was.
ideas in their heads
Yeah.
to life in a tangible form.
See, that's what when you were saying, I'm like, it's still an important tool because you can actually, when you're spitballing something, you can actually say, what if we do that? And you can say, hey, AI, what does it look like?
Yeah.
And be like, I don't know if that works. Or, okay, I could now, there is always in the creative process a real challenge when somebody has something in their brain to be able to convey into words a concept that they see in their heads, such that somebody else will see that same concept in their heads. Or worse yet, you could have two people with two different concepts in their head. They think they have the same one, but they don't. The fact that you can actually put it together and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and somebody going, well, actually, I was thinking this, and then you could iterate on that, and you could get an idea of what that looks like and whether it would work or not. And then take that information, like perfect the idea, and then go back and build. And I think that that is incredibly valuable because it saves all this time of coding stuff only to somebody go, yeah, I don't really like that.
It is. But is that what this does? Is that really what this does? Because,
Yeah.
as with any pitch, when you start to break it down and think about it in pieces, you start thinking, wait a minute, there's like a roadblock there. Wait a minute, there's another roadblock there. So they can create this generated gameplay of Bleeding Edge based off of, they said, 7 years of gameplay from Bleeding Edge being out. It can't generate gameplay for Kingdom Come. It can't generate gameplay for Halo. It can only do Bleeding Edge because it's been trained on that.
Oh, okay.
How much of a game do you need to create in order to train this model to generate the gameplay that you've already created? So why do I need the AI to generate what? It's like it's a solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
Right. Right.
Because if you need to create the game to train the AI to create the game, you've already created the game, so you don't need the AI to create the game. You're just going in circles.
But yes, but as you create the game and you feed it into the AI, you have that in the bank for the future. I mean, it is a work in progress.
Sure.
So as
and
it
then
gets more games under its belt, then you could actually, it'll need less and less training.
here, I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay. See, here's the thing. Here's a perfect example is you have a concept in your head of what you're trying to convey to me, and I'm not seeing the problem.
Oh, no, I'm giving you a new roadblock.
Okay.
This right here. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Can you see the little tiny picture on screen?
I can.
That's the generated video.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
That size of video, that's what it creates. It
Yeah.
can't do HD. It can't do standard.
No,
It can
no.
only do
And that's
tiny
fine.
little blurry video.
No, Nick, here's the thing is that you are complaining about that happening, about that fact. Oops, sorry, about that fact. I am happy. I do not want it to be generating stuff in HD. I do not want it to be actually creating code because then it removes humans. Then it is the potential of actually replacing humans. What this is,
Sure,
if
yes.
it's a storyboard. It's the equivalent of an AI generated storyboard. You would normally just have people drawing it out. This is just a computer drawing it out way faster.
Yes, except that, the point of storyboards is to give you a visual representation of what's going to happen. And is it a visual representation? If
No,
it's
that's
that
not. No,
blurry?
that's not what storyboards are. That is concept art. There's a very different point.
Yeah,
in
I'd say
storyboard.
storyboards are more literal. Storyboards are like, okay, when you say
No,
storyboard, I think
storyboards are
movies.
no, yeah, and all they are is kind of drawings out to kind of go through of like these are the shots, and they're just kind of line drawings of the shots.
Hmm,
They're not fully formed shots at all. They're just kind of line drawings
I
of
suppose.
what they're
True,
doing
true.
so that you can see how the story is all going to fit together. In this case, it's just a storyboard. It gives you an idea of what the
Except it's
gameplay might look like in a very, very rudimentary way. If
yeah.
now that
Well,
I've
but
seen what games
again,
look like right now, I mean, I've been watching a game being made. Like,
yeah.
and I can't talk about anything I'm seeing, but I'm watching how it's being made. And that is actually far more advanced than what they're currently using as storyboarding for gameplay or that
True. But the
concept,
advantage,
but
but the
they don't have to
advantage,
actually
but
code
the
it out.
advantage of those older storyboards is you don't need to make the game to get those,
No,
right?
that's the thing is that you do. And if the way that they're doing it right now is they spend a lot of time coding something, like somebody's like, "Hey, what if we have it do that?" And then all the guys are like, "Okay, boss says they want it to do that." And they work on it and then they present it
Yeah.
like the video of what they've made based on what was described to them.
But
And they
that's the
go,
key. That's the
"Yeah."
key.
And
What
then
you're
they throw it all out.
describing, that's but what you're describing is the actual important process of iterating on these ideas. Because if boss comes and says, "Hey, I want you to do X," you can't figure out if X is feasible or not based on a AI generated gameplay video.
Here's
You have to try to incorporate whatever that idea is in the code. Does the code handle this? Can the engine handle this? Oh,
right. No, no,
or
no.
we
So
can
here's the thing is that
we
they
can do
know.
something,
They know
but
it
does it
because
feel
this is the way
good?
the coders think. They know it won't work or it will. And they try to explain why it won't work. And the guys said the guys who don't code go, "I don't understand what you mean why it won't work." And if they could actually show
Except what you're
why it doesn't
describing,
work, then they wouldn't have to waste a bunch of time.
but
I
what you're
mean, I'm not gonna
describing,
talk about the things that I've seen, but waste an incredible amount of time
but what you're
putting something
describing
in that
isn't
their
what the model
coders said
does.
wasn't going to work in the first place.
But what you're describing is not what the model can do. The model generates gameplay video based on a prompt, based on other objects, but it doesn't know what's not there unless it's just making shit up. It
It
can't tell you
it
that this feature won't work in the
when
code.
one of these days, when this is all out, I can tell you
Key.
about how, yes, it would. In this case, that the thing that I know that I was privy to that I cannot talk about, yes, yes, it would.
Okay, you're saying that it would actually.
I think it would in the case that one of these days I will be happy to tell you all about.
Okay, because
that it
Based
would have
based
made
on
it
my knowledge,
clear
I
to the
don't
guy or
think
higher ups when the coders said, "This won't work, and here's why," and they didn't understand the code below it
and
show, and if the coders had been able to do a video and show the guy why it wouldn't work, they
but okay,
wouldn't have had to waste a bunch of time coding something that they knew wouldn't work.
you're assuming that this AI model would understand that code well enough
It's not
to
that they would
show a video
understand.
that it wouldn't work,
Yes,
or
yes.
would it just put the feature in the video,
It would
regardless of whether it would work or not?
you could probably say, "Hey, given these parameters of the gameplay, all right,
Mm-hmm.
give me a video of somebody doing X, and then doing something else that this other person thought was a great idea, a throw out, like, you know what I'd love to have in this game? I think it'd have XYZ." And then show them like why it won't work. Because you
But see,
can't, they don't
that's
understand what
but
the
I think
coders are saying and why,
that's
because they don't
where
understand how the game
I
works.
get your idea, but I think you're giving the AI model too much credit. Because based on everything we know about AI models now, the
Right.
technology as a whole,
Right.
it doesn't know what it doesn't know.
Right. Okay.
Which means like you
Let me
can't,
give you an idea. Let me give you a
but like you
kind
can't
of
you
co-
can't
let me give
say
you a
this
hypothetical
won't work.
situation. Let me give you a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
Okay, meeting guy. Let's call him
Okay.
meeting guy. He loves to have meetings. He doesn't code. He meets people and talks about things. He comes up with an idea to add a feature into the game and goes and says, let's do add this feature to the game. And all the coders say, "Hey, based on the way that the game works under the hood that we understand and you describing that to us, it won't work. And
Mhm.
here's why." Meeting guy does not understand what the coders are saying when he's saying it, because the coders are speaking code speak. The AI, the meeting guy is just speaking normal speak, right? Meeting guy says, here's my idea. And he puts together a video. And he says, "This is what I'm thinking."
Mhm.
Coders will go, "That's a great idea, except let me add this one bit of information to the AI. And the AI will be able to, and it will show you not what you want. It will show you what you will get if you try to do that with this game."
Will it? Because again, I think you're giving the AI
It's
more
iter-
credit
it's
than what it's
I
you're
think it's
assuming it's doing more than it is. Because like I said,
maybe.
it's just a video.
Really, it comes
And
down to the quality of the AI, and that's what that is.
it
It
does.
all comes down to if you can actually tell that AI, "Hey, all right, this guy has this idea. Let me take that idea, take this video, and let me give you one or two more bits of facts about the game. Now
And
show me how that would
ho-
work."
and hoping that the AI is smart enough to use that information to say this feature isn't possible instead of
Right, but no, here's the thing.
what most AI would do is saying, I see the parameters, but I'm going to incorporate the feature
Right,
anyways because that's what
right,
you asked.
right. And that's the thing, is that the coders know when they hear it why it won't work.
Yes, that's not an
And
issue.
so
That's
you
not in
just
question.
keep telling the AI information so that it will get to the point so that they'll see what it looks like and be able to hand it to them and go, "This is what it's going to look like if you do that."
Hopefully the AI understands that and
No,
can
it's
give
not.
a
But what they'll do is they'll look at it. They'll say, "Okay, here's this bit of information." And it
yes.
comes out with a video. And it's like, yeah, that's not what it's going to look like. We know what it's going to look like. So you keep on telling. It's kind of like, all right, I want you to paint a picture in in blue of a donkey in blue. And it will give you a donkey in blue. But the thing is you've already know what that donkey looks like in your head in blue. So you
Mhm.
just say, okay, that's not quite the right color blue. Make the donkey bigger. Make the ears smaller. You know
But that's
exactly
not it.
in
But that's
your
not what you're
head.
talking about.
Right, but
That's not
that's
the
what
issue
I'm
you're
talking.
talking
That's
about.
exactly what I'm talking about. You know in your head
No,
what this is going to
because
look like, and you
but
can
that's
tell
not
the
the issue in
AI.
question. The issue that you're describing is more
Mhm,
like meeting guy says, "I want a donkey in blue,"
right,
and he gives a prompt to Muse, and it gives him a blue
dog,
donkey in bleeding edge.
right.
But the coders can say, "We see that, except that the code for bleeding edge cannot handle the color blue," right?
Right.
And you can put that in there as a prompt. This cannot be blue. But if you give that to an AI and you say, "This donkey cannot be blue, generate me a blue donkey," there's no
No, 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 no,
guarantee
no, 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 no. Your
that
your
it won't be blue,
your
or it
your
might not be.
no, you are giving it parameters and telling it to figure out what's going to happen. The
But there's
coders
no guarantee that it
already
follows those
know. They
parameters.
already know what
It
it's going
doesn't
to look.
matter what the coders know.
They're going to say, "Okay, I need you to build the donkey in blue.
Mhm.
Take this donkey in blue video, this donkey in blue gameplay, but change the blue to red and make the donkey a dog." And it's like, okay, that's a too big a dog. Make the dog smaller. Okay, now give the dog, okay, that's too many legs on that dog. Give the dog 3 legs because that's all that they know that the game, if you put that in there, is going to make a dog with 3 legs in red.
So you're
So you could
saying
just say, all
instead
right,
of
here's the video. Here's, keep on telling it. All right, improve it so that what's in their head is actually conveyed in the gameplay video. Then they can take that video back and say, all right, we see it. Now, let me tell you the way that this engine works and the way that we have coded up to this point and the way that everything in this game works. If you tried to add a donkey in blue, this is what you would get. And
okay,
he's
okay. So
a three-legged dog in red.
I think I get what you're saying, which is
They already know
it's
what's gonna look
different.
like.
Yes, and so I'm saying that the model isn't smart enough to know what it looks like. And you're saying
AC Ray says, "This is totally how Ookie Bookie Spelookie is being
so
made."
okay,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying the model doesn't know what it will look like. You're saying that doesn't matter
That doesn't matter.
because
The coders know
okay,
what it's gonna look like.
new scenario.
Okay.
Bill is a manager at Obsidian, and he's
Alright.
looking at a build of Avowed.
Right.
And he's saying, "I want you to be able to loot every dead body."
Right.
Because I just played Kingdom Come and you could loot every dead body, and that's cool.
Right.
The coders are like, "But that's not how our item system works.
Right.
You could go up and you could loot a body, but there's not going to be anything on it. Right? It won't have anything on it. You can't do anything."
Right.
So Bill uses Muse to create a video of you going up to every dead body and it coming up with armor and money and maybe a health potion, and you taking
Mhm.
that. The
Mhm.
coders are then, no, this is what it will look like
This
instead.
is what
And they
it
create a
will
video
actually look like when you do
of
this.
you going up to a dead body, opening up an empty inventory, and then closing it, and everybody having an empty inventory.
Right. See, that's a little bit hard because in that case, it's a very easy concept to convey by words.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Sometimes a concept is very, very complicated to, like
Yes. I'm just saying you're putting the onus of thought and you you're putting all of the critical thought on the shoulders of the developers to use this AI to create a model that better fits their vision of the game, as opposed to the boss using the model to create their vision of the game.
Right.
And
The boss is
each
gonna
of them
create their video.
creating competing visions based on what they think the game is
Right.
capable of doing.
But here's okay, in this scenario, the one that you had about, I want everything to be able to be lootable. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. It won't work because of the way that we have the inventory system already in the game. So a project manager, or whoever the head of development, makes a video of gameplay showing that you go up the body, you open it up, you loot it, there's stuff in there, you put it in your inventory. Hands it off to the developers, the coders. The coders go back and say, all right, here's what, if you did that, here's what it would actually look like. And they would be able to show you opening it up, right? And all of this stuff being in there. And when you try to pull it out, it all explodes and there's stuff everywhere because they don't have an inventory to hold it.
Mhm.
So he'd actually see that that doesn't work that way, or, showing the entire system breaking down.
So okay. I still think
Now,
the
they may
AI,
not believe that.
that's I was just thinking that the AI doesn't actually resolve this issue we've been
No,
arguing
no,
about,
they
because
may not
the
believe that that
core
will
the
actually
core of this
happen.
issue is bad management of
Right,
a manager putting tasks to
right,
developer who doesn't understand the
right.
engine.
Who
If
who
the
doesn't
developers
well,
come back,
who doesn't trust the engineers when the engineer says, "This can't work.
yes,
This
and if the
can't
devs
work."
come back
I don't
with an
understand
AI
why it won't
generated
work. It should be
video
totally
to
easy
prove
to
their
be able to do it.
point,
I've seen other games do it. Look, in other games, they've had that. I'd love to have that in this game.
yeah, something
And
tells
then
me
and then the engineers being able to say, "Okay, yes, you saw that in this other game, but it won't work in this game because of the way that the rest of the game works. And here's why." And
I
we
think
show it to you why
if
it won't
you
work.
have a manager who makes that ask and doesn't understand it through words, video's not gonna help. They're still not gonna understand
Maybe,
it.
maybe not. Maybe not.
Which
But
again is like,
but
even in the
maybe
best case scenario,
the
the
manager
best case
thinks that,
scenario
but maybe the
for
manager's
this AI
manager.
model
But then you could take both of these to the manager's
is still,
manager, and the
oh my
manager's
god.
manager, you'd be able to say, the engineers would go, "Bob, I know that Bill really wants this,
You
and I
know
can
what you
see
could
that,
also
and this
do?
looks great, but Bill, this is what's gonna actually, I mean, we'll do it. We will absolutely code this for you and do it. But here's what's gonna happen when we do that."
Here's the thing, you can
Bob,
do all
I
that
love Bill's idea, but that's
with your
not the way that this
words
game works.
and save everyone a whole lot of time.
Yeah. Well, this is the reality of businesses. This is reality games. This is reality of everything that has to do with with art and concepts and making complicated things work together. And then also project
And
managers
and
who
I
come in with great
imagine
ideas.
and I imagine this is for the project managers, because this is basically offloading imagination to
Mhm.
an AI because you don't have it.
You can have the imagination, you just don't have the underpinning of the technological background. And this is the idea of an artist versus an engineer. That's what games are. They are a meeting where art meets engineer.
Yeah.
And when an artist and an engineer are talking to each other, if they respect each other's views, if the engineers want to make the art, and if the artists want to listen to the engineers and trust the engineers when they say it won't work, yes, you could it won't absolutely positively solve every single one of these arguments, but it creates one more tool in that toolkit of being able to convey to the artist in a way that the artist might be able to understand what the engineer is saying about why it won't work,
Okay.
in a
And,
way that
and
doesn't force the engineer to do the whole thing and it to fail in exactly the way that they said it was going to fail and waste a bunch of time. The thing is that this is so fast in order to be able to do it that it's actually a useful tool. There's very little time
we-
wasted
we-
in adding that, and it has the potential of saving a lot of time.
We can disagree on that.
Okay.
We can disagree on the internals of this and how useful this tool might actually be in the development and iteration process.
Right.
That's not how Phil Spencer pitched this.
No. Of course not. Of course not. You know why? Because he's the artist, not the motherfucking engineers who are trying to explain why it won't
No, actually, I have a different theory.
work. Mhm.
I think that Satya Nutella was standing behind Phil Spencer with a gun to his head, saying,
With his hand all the way up his ass
"Motherfucker."
to be able to control his mouth.
No, not like has a puppet. I mean, gun to his head, threatening him like, "Your business, Phil, you fucker. You've been losing money for the past 5 years. Xbox had better get on the AI hype train.
Because if you don't,
Otherwise, I'm pulling this trigger and you're out of here."
we're gonna make you an offer you can't.
And
refuse.
so Phil Spencer pitched this idea as
he's polished the turd that he was forced to roll out.
where is it? You could imagine a world where gameplay data and video that a model could learn old games from and really make them portable to any platform where those models could run. We've talked about game preservation has an activity force, and these models and their ability to learn completely how a game plays without the necessity of the original engine running on the original hardware opens up a ton of opportunity. And he's talking about, we can use this to port old games to modern functions. Game preservation.
Yeah, yeah.
Except
Uh-oh.
that's not what the model does.
No, that's
It doesn't create.
I don't understand what he means by that, by game preservation, meaning that they could create videos of
Because
old games?
no, he wants to sell you the idea of using AI to port old games to modern hardware without having to have a whole bunch of people putting in all that effort. And it's like, that's a really nice vision of the future. That is nowhere close to what this technology does.
Nowhere.
It doesn't.
Maybe one day.
port anything.
Yeah,
Except-
maybe one day, but not now.
Except it's not maybe one day. It's not.
I hope not. I really
Because-
hope not. For the sake of this industry, I very much hope not.
Satya Nutella, his whole take was that just represents persistent model, blah blah blah. The cool thing, what I'm excited about, is we're gonna have a catalog of games soon that will start using these models, or we're gonna train these models to generate and then start playing off of that.
This is the equivalent of 3D TV.
Oh no, this is NFTs.
This is
This is the exact, because
Yeah.
what was the selling point of NFTs?
that you were-
You're gonna get a weapon in Halo, and you could use that weapon in Final Fantasy.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's like, that's the pitch that they use to get all this funding. But anyone who knows even just a little bit about how games work is like, first of all, those are two different companies, two different platforms, two very different types of games.
Yeah.
You can't really have that kind of interoperability. It just
I
it
can't
just
believe
doesn't
anybody had the balls to actually
work
say that out
with
loud.
the underlying
Yeah.
structure of the industry. Using AI to port a game from one platform to another, that's also not really feasible, because what engine is it going to do? Unreal Engine?
What it says to me is Satya Nutella is either blowing smoke up your ass or has absolutely no concept of how things work. Like a basic rudimentary concept of the way games work.
It's because Microsoft is so all in. It put all of its chips into AI. It put the deed to its house into AI. It put its life savings, its 401k, everything into AI. And I feel like this is part of a company mandate. He's like, Xbox had better start using some AI stuff.
Because if not,
Otherwise,
we're fucked.
uh-huh.
Well,
And
no,
all of this, I guess all of this just feels frustrating because you have this technology
mhm.
that is pretty cool. It can generate gameplay and simulated control stuff and say, hey, that's neat. Maybe in a year or two or something, you can use this in development and it could be useful, like for the development process.
Mhm.
But investors don't want to hear that. And so you get
Well, what's happening
Phil
is that the
and Sadia
only
blowing
people that are gonna
smoke
be
up our
investing, of course,
asses.
right? No, but the thing is that they can blow all the smoke they want. Somebody is finally going to say that's bullshit. If we see the bullshit, other people will see the bullshit.
Yeah, they haven't yet.
I would venture to guess a lot of people have seen that bullshit. And I would also venture to guess that a lot of people didn't, and that's the stupid money. And you cannot fix stupid.
Yeah.
If you are so out of touch with reality and so uncaring about your investment that you don't actually research the investment, the concept, you don't, I mean, it doesn't even begin to start to be reality. So he can say all he wants. It's it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. Trust me. Very smart people with a lot of money also know it's bullshit. But speaking of having a gun held to your head and being told you better, we're not telling you you absolutely should, but we're making you an offer you can't refuse. So, former PlayStation executive Shuhei Yoshida said recently he had an interview with with something called Sacred Symbols, which I'm assuming is Japanese, and Push Square did the translation.
Okay.
He said something very interesting. He said, he is not, let's see. He said, from my experience, when they're not forcing any games, any companies, any developers to make live service games. He's absolutely not forcing any company within the PlayStation realm, with anywhere, to make
I
a
mean,
live.
certainly not anymore.
No, no. But he never was. They never were. They were never saying you have to make a live service game. But he did say this. They didn't, and they called it the big initiative. Never told anybody that they had to play ball with the big initiative. But, quote, it's not like current PlayStation boss studio, Helmut Hurst, is telling teams they need to make live service games. From my experience, when studios see the company has a big initiative, they realize writing on that gives them a better chance of the project getting approved and supported.
Makes sense.
It's not like PlayStation bosses are telling the teams they need to make live service games. It's likely mutual. That's the way he characterized it. It's mutual. Oh, if you could, we're not telling you have to make live service games. It's clear that if you want to actually get the game made, it probably needs to be live service. So it's mutual. They're voluntarily making
It's a bit more carrot
live
than
service.
stick,
Right.
but it's still like
Right.
wink,
But
wink.
it's still so telling the horse where to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you know it's good
they're
for you.
making them
Which
an offer they can't refuse. We're
which
not
is
telling you have to make it. It's clear that if you don't make a live service game, you're probably not gonna get funded. You're
yeah.
probably not gonna get a green light.
And so that is, I think, one of the reasons that we've, especially on Sony's side, that they've struggled with first party games. I mean, I say struggled when almost every year they have a game in like the top 10 best selling of the year, right? Whether it's God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, Astrobot, before that, what was it? Ghost of Tsushima or Death Stranding.
Mhm.
Like they put out Last of Us 2. They put out their classic prestige single player games every year consistently.
Hmm.
But, Naughty Dog hasn't made a game since Last of Us 2.
Right.
And when you look at
And
what they were talking
you
about,
can bet your bottom dollar they've pitched something.
oh no, we know that they were working on a Last of Us multiplayer game.
Yep.
Like that was a poorly kept secret for a long time. But ultimately, they decided to not go through with that because they knew if we put out this game as a live service game, we then have to support it.
Right.
And that means we will not have the resources to create more single player games.
Right.
So you spend 5 years working on a multiplayer game only to realize this isn't the direction we want our studio to go.
Right. Well, they
And
saw the writing on the wall, and they're like, we would rather not do that. But they
Yeah.
also are Naughty Dog, and they have the luxury of being able to say,
yes.
yeah, we're not going to play that game.
Well, I'm just saying that
But
what
other
that
studios don't.
represents is 6 years of time for a famed studio to not put out a game.
Mhm.
And we know recently that with the closures, cancellations, Sony canceled the game from Sony Santa Monica, the developers of God of War. They canceled a game from Bluepoint, who did the remakes of Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls.
Mhm.
Those are two like pretty major first party games. I'm sure that they're big enough. They're working on other things, but like what all that live service stuff did, like I talked about, I think I said it last week. It's missing years, right? We just went a whole generation where some developers didn't get to put out a new game because they kind of got sucked into the live service machine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They weren't forced
Mhm.
to make live service games. It's just the only thing they were funding was live service games. So Shuhei Yoshida calls that mutual. So it's mutual. It's a mutual agreement that Naughty Dog doesn't put out a game. That Naughty Dog cancels that game.
Look, like I'm sure that there is some degree of mutuality.
Well, yeah,
Last of Us, the first game, did have a multiplayer mode. So like I can absolutely see someone at Naughty Dog going, let's take this mode and expand it. Because that mode was really cool. There's some interesting ideas there that you could play with. But I don't know if it takes 6 years to realize that, we can't expand this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because they knew that they would have to put it, like you said, put it into a live service, and they didn't want to tie themselves down into becoming having a live service albatross around their neck. Yeah. So it's a bit of a corporate speak, let's just say, of it's mutual.
Mhm.
It's a very interesting way to use the phrase mutual, let's just say. But yeah, we're not saying that you have to like AI. We're just saying if you want to keep your job, you should probably use AI.
Mhm.
Anyway, now, keep talking. I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Then in that case, I'll do some smaller news stories before we get to like the big one. Let's keep on the Sony train. I don't think I actually have a banner for this one, but there's interesting stories about actually I think this is from the same podcast. Yeah, Shuhei Yoshida on the Sacred Symbols podcast. He was talking about Sony's relationship with From. If you remember, Demon Souls was published by Sony. That's why Sony Studio did the HD remake for PS5. Dark Souls was published by Atlas, not Sony. And the reason is because Sony kind of treated them bad for Demon Souls. From Software didn't like the way they were treated. Yoshida has an anecdote. From my personal experience with Demon Souls, when it was close to final, I spent close to 2 hours playing it, And after 2 hours, I was still standing at the beginning of the game. I said, "This is crap. This is an unbelievably bad game." So I put it aside, which is really funny because that's just, I think that's a lot of people's experience with Souls-like games, is that exact scenario. Oh, I've been doing this forever and I'm still at the starting point. I haven't made any progress and just getting frustrated with that. And yeah, it's interesting to see that the people behind the game, the higher ups, kind of had that same issue with it. And I think in retrospect, it kind of makes the whole idea that this genre took off kind of weird, because it's really unplayer friendly in a lot of ways. And I just thought that was this amusing anecdote that he had that same issue. But apparently, like, it was a big enough issue for him, and it changed the way that they treated that game on release and how to publish it and market it, that From Software was really, really unhappy with that relationship. And that's why they went with Atlas for Demon Souls 1, 2, and 3. I don't know exactly what brought them back for Bloodborne, but we know now why they left for Demon Souls.
What is this?
Okay, I was just talking about Sony pissing off From Software years ago.
Yeah.
But the bigger news this week,
Mm-hmm.
it's been kind of all over this week, is NetEase.
Oh yeah, we both have it. You have NetEase, and I've got this one.
Yep.
You call it offloading, I call it bailing.
Offloading. I was going to say offloading.
I didn't even see that. I didn't see his, and it's funny that we have almost identical banners.
Mm-hmm. Like earlier this week, or at the tail end of last week, there were stories that a lot of the developers on Marvel Rivals had been let go.
No,
for
all of the developers on Marvel Rivals were let go.
Well, no, not all of them.
No.
Like I said, for a day or two, it was really weird. It was like, oh wait, all these people were fired from NetEase after Marvel Rivals like did good, and people were talking about how, boy, developers are just between a rock and a hard place. Your game does poorly, like Conquered, you get let go. Your game is successful, like Marvel Rivals, you get let go. It's a no-win situation. As more time went on and more details came out, we learned that this is the result of NetEase basically pulling back on foreign studios.
Right.
And this continues a trend that earlier this year, they canceled a couple games and a couple new studios that had formed that were working on games. They canceled those games and left those studios. I think there's a Japanese game from one of their new studios that they have said, you have all funding to make the game and to market it, but you have no additional funding.
Right.
So like once you finish this game, like the relationship is over.
Yeah. And the companies, the companies, the production, the companies that they pulled back production from last year were Worlds Untold, Jar of Sparks, and Liquid Sword. So those are three companies that they paused productions at these studios.
And so a bunch of American developers on Marvel Rivals were fired or were let go.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think they recently closed a Japanese studio. They also own Quantic Dreams in France, I believe. Yep. And so all of these studios are now kind of
Grasshopper Manufacture as well.
Oh yes, Grasshopper in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of this is kind of, they don't know for sure like why NetEase is choosing to pull out of all these foreign studios so soon after making a big investment push to expand. But almost before any of those games and new developers have a project, they're immediately pulling back out.
I have a feeling it has to do with a couple of different things. It probably has to do with their own bottom line, their own finances. I also suspect that it has to do with fears that there may be a significant economic events happening in the world right now that are making many companies that are outside of the United States pull back from investment in the United States.
I'm more on that side of things. I suspect what's going on is that
I mean,
NetEase,
there's already predictions of a very deep recessions, given what has been happening in from fiscal policy in the last 3 months, and seems to be progressing even more so. There are many, and it's not just it's nothing to do with politics. This is economics. These are number crunchers. These are the equivalent of coders, but with like dollars and cents. And they're saying that if this keeps playing out the way it's going to be, they are predicting a very deep recession in the near to mid future.
so I think it's kind of related to that. I think NetEase has a Chinese company.
Yeah.
And like we had talked about before with that big old PowerPoint presentation about how Chinese game development is on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
I think NetEase is looking at its overseas investments, looking at its domestic possibilities and going,
Not
there's
worth
more. Yeah, it's not worth it.
Or there's more here than it
Or-
is there. So why are we spending all that money over there when we could have that money?
Exactly. They're
Yeah,
going.
we
our
go
de-
where the opportunities are, and
all local development is now smart enough and experienced enough. We can make the AAA games we want to make without having to get American developers on board or European developers on board. We can stay domestic. We'll still launch the products globally because all games do, but we don't have to develop them globally.
right.
And so I suspect that this is for a number of reasons, but like this is what I was talking about before of kind of the shrinking of the American game industry and the growing of the Chinese game industry.
Right. Yeah. Um,
I just
Yeah,
hope Quantic Dream stays around long enough to give us their Star Wars game.
I think that will probably happen is that, and they're already talking that there are sources to GameFile who kind of broke this news, and anonymously to them. I mean, under the promise of anonymity, they told GameFile that NetEase is divesting itself of the majority of its overseas teams, and if they can't secure a buyer for Quantic Dreams and also Grasshopper Manufacture, they're going to close them. So they're
Yes.
looking for buyers. If only this is the moment that what's the one in Sweden, or was it Norway?
Embracer?
Embracer. This is the
Oh,
moment
Jesus.
Embracer should have been here for. Yeah.
No, you don't want to get embraced by
They're going to
Embracer.
start shaving off all of this stuff. So, yeah. By the way, the other studios that are currently, they say, are at risk of being shut down include Anchor Point, GP Track 50, Jackalyptic Games, Nagashi, Pincool, Rebel Wolves, Skybox Labs, Studio Flare, T-0 Entertainment, and a bunch of other ones, like more than a dozen of them. According to reports, GameFile did reach out to Netflix for comment, and they received the following
NetEase.
response. Sorry, NetEase. All studios and projects are in constant review and evaluation, and NetEase will determine changes needed to be made through that process.
Of course they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always looking for heads to cut.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if you think about it, we're talking about 29,000 employees total with NetEase. I don't know how many of them are
Yeah, how many of those are foreign and how many of those are domestic?
foreign or domestic, but where they have 30,000 employees.
Okay.
And also keep in mind that the Marvel Rivals bloodletting, the thing that one of the comments that made it go off like wildfire was made by Thaddeus Sasser, who was a director on Marvel Rivals, who put out the tweet. Such a weird industry. My stellar, talented team just helped deliver an incredibly successful new franchise in Marvel Rivals for NetEase Games, and we're laid off. which sounds horrible, but his team was 6 people. So it wasn't
Mm.
like it was a lot of people, but it did make ripples that an entire team was laid off from a very, very, very successful game. And
Yeah.
that's where the whole like they started like digging in of like, well, what's going on with NetEase? Why are they doing that? And then they, you know, you can put that in that they closed 3 studios last year, and then what's going on? And finally, they got an anonymous source to say, yeah, they're divesting of foreign investments and going domestic.
Yeah. And I think a lot of those studios that you mentioned, NetEase had this trend of we're going to take a big name person who worked on Grand Theft Auto or who worked on Assassin's Creed, and they're going to start a new studio and they're going to be working on game and we're going to give them money. So a lot of those studios are those kind of new up and coming. Oh, we left the AAA space to make our own indie AAA game,
Right.
but now it doesn't have funding.
Right. Yeah. That's you're going to see a lot of. I think that you're going to see in general, specifically in the United States, you're going to see a condensing of the industry
Oh
considerably.
yeah, yeah. We
You're
already
not going to see all
most
of these crazy small studios anymore, which is a shame. I think that that will turn around when the economy turns around, and I'm assuming what economists are predicting is going to happen is that we are going to see a recession, and you know, recessions come, recessions go. Eventually, it pulls out. I don't know how long this is going to last. If it's a deep recession, we hopefully will get a. It won't last long, but I think that it's gonna be like at least 10 years, 10 to 15 years, if that happens, before we see everything kind of sort of bounce back.
Yeah, and we're already seeing a shrinking. Just look at the number of AAA games that come out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, next item is oh do you have any? Because I have something fun to end on.
Yes, I got a couple. I got a couple small ones.
Okay.
Only one I think I actually had a news item for. Twitch announced that it is now going to limit. Well, in 2 months, it is going to start limiting archives to 100 hours. And this means if you go to Twitch right
This is
now,
like what, 5 episodes of GameHounds?
right? Like when you actually think about 100 hours, a lot of these streamers have like 8-hour Twitch streams each day because, you know, they stream it as like a job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 10 days,
Mhm.
like 2 weeks maybe at most.
Yeah.
So that's quite a significant pullback.
Mm-hmm.
And it's understandable in a way because look, that's a lot of video that you're hosting, right?
Yeah, that takes up a lot of space. That's a lot of server space.
Yeah. Also,
Lot of
doesn't
bandwidth.
Amazon own AWS, which is like the biggest file hosting service on the internet? You would think there'd be some sort of synergy there, but no. No.
No, they make them pay. Twitch has to pay Amazon
Oh yeah.
for the
Oh
space.
yeah. I'm just saying, like, you know, you could like use that to your benefit to like, oh yeah, give Twitch this ability to host permanent content. No.
You don't want that. Nobody wants that.
I mean, I
Nobody
do
wants
want that because I want to watch some archives, but to do that, I got to go to YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good old Google. Nothing beats Google. Yeah, I understand that. I don't find that surprising. I'm surprised that they haven't done that yet, because it is, you know, storage ain't free. It's any more than library books aren't, you know, you got to put the library book somewhere. It's just these are very teeny, teeny, tiny library books, but it's a lot of them and they got to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though. It's just like, hey, there's a whole archive of your work that is now
Mhm.
gone,
Right.
unless you re-upload it.
I'm
and-
amazed that Apple allows me to have hours and hours and hours and hours of audio. I mean, way more than 774 episodes. We're talking thousands of hours of audio that are sitting on Apple servers out there. Actually, it's not on Apple servers. It's on Libsyn, where I pay for it.
Oh, okay, that's the truth.
Right, but I pay for it. Not much, but I pay. All right, what's your next one?
This one I don't have a banner for. So, tell me if this sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
The Pokemon Company
Mm-hmm.
sues an indie developer for copyright infringement for Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Specifically, they sue a Chinese developer. It's not Power World,
Oh.
but apparently in 2005, the game Pocket Monster Remake launched on mobile from a self-developer.
Mm-hmm.
That self-developer basically reused assets from Pokemon to make the
Oh,
game.
that's absolutely. Oh my God. I can't believe they didn't get sued beforehand.
And it took them 6 years.
Yeah.
Because the
I'm
Pokemon Company
surprised.
filed the lawsuit December 2021.
Yeah.
Uh,
They should count themselves lucky that they got 6 years out of that.
And now finally they have reached a settlement. And apparently the indie developer has, quote, paid a substantial economic price and incurred significant reputational damage.
Yeah.
But I just think it's funny how on the surface, like this headline, like Chinese mobile company pays the Pokemon Company substantial copyright infringement settlement. It's like, wait a minute, are they talking about Power World? That sounds like Power World. Is it? No, it's not.
It's not
is.
power, it's
It's not.
All right, so my last item that's kind of a fun one. So, let me see if I can find it here. So, you're familiar with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, correct?
Yes.
This is a charity that gives wishes to very ill and terminally ill children before they pass away, or kids with cancer. It's that kind of stuff. Grants
Yeah.
wishes. Very good charity. Bethesda donated a gift for a silent auction to the big annual Make-A-Wish Foundation silent auction that they have online and in person in Washington, D.C. that ended last night.
Okay.
What they donated was the chance for a person to become a character in Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, I just thought of a terrible and sad joke.
Well, yeah, no. Don't make any jokes about dead kids, all right? No dead baby jokes on the show.
Look, I'm just saying, whoever wins that is not going to be able to see it.
So, there wasn't a granting a wish. It was something that they auctioned off to raise money for the charity.
Oh, okay.
It's a silent auction. You could
Okay,
buy it.
that makes well. Oh, okay. So that means whoever bought that is not one of the people.
No, it's an auction
Is
to
not a
raise
sick
money.
person.
It's a fundraiser
Okay,
for
okay.
for their big silent auction in their big annual fundraiser in Washington, D.C. that goes off last night. Now,
That
it
is
was
better.
available online. It was online bidding for it. And one of the things they donated to the silent auction for people to buy to raise money for Make-A-Wish was the ability to win the chance or to win being a character in
Yeah.
an NPC in Elder
For a
Scrolls.
moment, I misinterpreted that as one of the people from Make-A-Wish
No,
gets
no.
into Elder Scrolls 6,
No.
which is
You
like
could buy if you wanted to bid on it, you could absolutely have bid on it, and if you would have won, you would have been a character.
that's cool.
All
That's
right, so
cool.
to give you an idea, they had lots of small things, they had lots of big things, they had lunch with the Greek ambassador and other stuff because this was in Washington D.C. So a 7 nights in a lakefront villa on Lake Como, including all airline fees for 4 people, went for $28,000.
Wow.
Guess what becoming an NPC in Elder Scrolls went for?
28 million.
$85,450.
Oh, Elder Scrolls fans are sick. We're a sick
Oh, if
people.
I had $85,000, you damn right. You damn right I would have spent it on that.
I
God,
don't want to go to a lake for 4 days, all expenses paid. I want to be in Elder Scrolls 6.
that lasts forever. The 7 days, it's over. But becoming an NPC, going out there, having your face scanned, becoming in the game, how awesome would that
Look,
be?
if you really want that, you can make a mod. I want someone to make a mod where they replace every NPC's face with my face. Every single one of them.
Oh, I love that idea. Oh, I love that idea. So yeah.
That's funny, though.
It says the description was this once in a lifetime opportunity allows you to immortalize yourself in one of the most highly anticipated video games of all time, Elder Scrolls 6. With this exclusive experience, you'll work with developers to create a custom character that will appear in the game, leaving your mark on the legendary franchise.
I hope that, for that price, they're more than just random, I got an arrow on my knee NPC. I
Mhm.
want them to like be a merchant, be a quest giver, like someone that you're gonna
Yeah.
interact with more than just pass by.
Oh, by the way, AC Wraith found the article about what that Chinese developer paid Pokemon. It was $50
Yeah.
million.
Oh, okay. That's a lot for a tiny developer.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, $85,000. Too bad you didn't have $85,500 lying around. You could have been a character.
I could have.
I think Corey Wallace might have just actually paid that much. He might have actually done that because he's kind of an Elder Scrolls hound, so to speak. All right. Anything else before we end the show? It has been going on now for 2 hours, so we should probably wrap this up.
That's about it. I've got a story that's kind of about Avowed and kind of the.
Can it wait a week?
It can, because I think it'd be more interesting to talk about it after you played it.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it needs to wait a week. Yeah, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to play it next week because, to be quite honest, and I was showing Nick, I have something to announce. We have a key fob and new keys on the keychain. Edie got the apartment.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, I officially signed the lease and paid. I'm in. I'm not moved in. I have a table and a patio table and 2 patio chairs on the patio. I have some nice forks and spoons. I have some light bulbs that I haven't put in, and I have some picture hanging hooks on the counter. And that's the only thing I have in the house. But it's going to be a bit of a process moving stuff out. It's going to be little bits and dribs and drabs. I wanted to do it yesterday, but I didn't have time. I was just so busy. Is to get a lug to bring over a spare bed that I have and put that into the guest room. So at least I will have a bed there and a bed at my house, because I'm going to be splitting between the two until I can get the other house rented.
Okay, so I just had an idea for a game, and I'm gonna pitch this to you. It's like a
Too bad we don't have an AI that could actually make a video of what you are seeing in your head.
Imagine an extraction shooter RPG with some rogue-like elements, where you play as a mover hired by Edie to go into her house and extract a piece of furniture for the new apartment. But along the way, you've got to battle sawdust poisoning, you've got to battle rats, you've got to battle bats, you've got to battle other things that you find along the way. Mold that has somehow infected all appliances. And so you have to go in, take as many pieces of furniture as you can, and then come out.
Yeah.
But it'll play. It's like one of those simulator, like Power Wash Simulator, where if you go in with 2 players, that's when you can start moving like the couch and the bed. But you need
you can't take
up.
the big stuff. You have to take the little stuff if you're only by yourself. But a bed is a 2-man job.
At minimum, we can up the player count.
Right, 4 men will do that much faster.
And so the question is, can you extract the furniture
And then
before?
and you will have like a little like place where you can ask for help, and you will find a guy called Let Me Move Her.
It's like, yeah, I can do all this myself.
Yeah, and AC Ray says you still have to ask the rats for
Oh,
your
yeah.
Steam Deck. Yeah.
Maybe if you can find it.
No, when there's a couple things that I have lost in the house that I need to find. One of them is Steam Deck. The other one is my great grandmother's diamond earrings that are somewhere in that
Those
house.
also seem important.
Yeah, those are very. To be honest, I would rather have those than the Steam Deck. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's going to be a long process of taking stuff and putting it in the garbage can and just slowly moving stuff out. I have a couch that's arriving on the 27th.
Okay.
So I'm going to actually, I do have some furniture coming. I have a couch, I have a rug, and I have a picture coming on the 27th. Next Saturday, my friend turned me on to the fact, hey, by the way, if you ever need to fill out a house, get yourself a friend who's a stager, because they're constantly getting all of it very tasteful. They're constantly getting rid of their furniture. Sometimes they will stage a house, right? And then the house sells, and they just give away the house. Give away, like, tell the buyer, hey, do you want this furniture? If the buyer says no, then they just give away the furniture. They just leave
Really?
the house with the furniture in it. Yep. A lot of them do, because they get paid so much to stage houses, and you can get furniture relatively inexpensive if you know where to look. I mean, you can get a $600, $500 couch, and if you get them on sale, you get them for $300. Now, are they great couches? Are they high quality? No, but they look great. And
Yeah.
this is exactly what
They're
I'm
good enough.
Right. They're good enough. This is an apartment. I'm not looking to. I already have built my permanent furniture. I have the antiques from grandma's house. I don't need those. In fact, I'm getting rid of a lot of those. I am, what do they call that? Nordic death cleaning. I'm
I
remember
haven't
that?
heard of
I think it's
that.
called Swedish death cleaning. What is it?
What?
It's yeah, death. Look it up. Death cleaning. It
Swedish death cleaning.
is Swedish death cleaning, which is a thing where you will, people like my age or maybe a little older, they recognize they're getting older and they don't want to saddle their children with just fucking rooms full of bullshit they don't need. They recognize I will never need that, or I don't need this anymore. I'm no longer a young person. I don't want to leave this for my kids to have to throw away. So I am going to do Swedish death cleaning in anticipation of my eventual demise. And what it is like I'm throwing away everything that I don't think my kids are going to want. And if I'm not using it immediately, if it's not essential to me to be here, and I know that my kids aren't going to want to inherit it, and you can ask them like, hey, do you want that chest of drawers when I die? No? Okay, get rid of the chest of drawers. So I'm doing my Swedish death cleaning right now. I am taking a lot of these antiques that I was saddled with because my family didn't do the Swedish death cleaning. That I never wanted these antiques. And I'm just being like, I'm just throwing them away. I have nobody to give them to. Nobody wants them. If they wanted them, I wouldn't already have them. They've
Yeah, and
already
you don't
been
have the
passed on
sentimental.
by all of the other cousins. I was at the bottom of the list for getting the stuff. So I got all the crap. So I don't want it. Nobody else is gonna want it. Nobody's looking at my, house and going, if only I had that armoire. No. And I'm not gonna need it. I don't want it. I never wanted it in the first place. I didn't pick that armoire. It's fucking ugly. It's gone. Buy a turkey, get a vase. Yeah, buy a turkey, you get a dining room set. That's what my friend is like, well, what about your dining room set? I'm like, oh, the dining room set that my grandmother brought over from England because she liked it so much. She saw it in an antique store in England and just thought it was lovely and had it shipped here. Gone. He goes, but those are very expensive antique chairs, like dining chairs. They're beautiful. I'm like, yeah, do you want them? He's like, no. I'm like, gone.
You're like, neither do I.
Neither do I. I didn't want them when I got them. Everybody that sat in them and go, these are the most uncomfortable chairs I've ever sat in. I'm like, I know. Gone.
This one says, I haven't even had a couch in decades. How? How?
Yeah. How do you know?
Why, dude?
Well, because he's
What?
PC games. You can do that with
Okay.
Yeah, because you have like case in point. This is a PC gaming situation right here. All you need is a chair and a desk. But yeah, console gaming, gotta have a couch, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, in other news, are we going to have any shows that we're out for anytime in the near future that we're aware of? I mean, we are getting close to that time.
I don't think so.
Haven't had a TV in decades. Oh my god, what's wrong with you? I'm
I
concerned.
mean, I guess those two.
Hey, do you want
go
one?
together.
Do you want a TV? I've got a couple. Because you know what's going to happen to them? Gone. I actually literally threw away 3 TVs already.
You wanna what? Scarlet? You wanna?
You know what? It's been fine the entire show.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It hasn't done it, but that one time.
There's but that one little blip earlier.
Yeah. I'm wondering. Now I really wish I could.
Did the problem just solve itself?
I really, really wish that I could get this consistently figured out what the problem is so I can fix it.
Yeah.
But anyway, any shows that are coming up that we're not going to be able to do a show?
Not from me.
All right. I will the week of, and this is way, way in advance, but I just found out this week that the week of the on the 6th and the 13th of April, those 2 weeks, we are going to be
okay, month away.
Yeah, more than a month away.
Yeah,
because that's like this is February, so we're talking about a month and change. Make it more than a month. Yeah, the 6th through the 13th, 6th and the 13th, we aren't going to have a show. I am going to be in Utah at national parks, and it's going to be great.
you'll be touching grass.
Somebody's got to.
Okay, maybe I'll stream something those weekends. That way we're not totally.
We always say that. We never do.
I did the last time.
Okay,
I
good.
forget what I streamed. I think I streamed a VR game. Oh, I should stream a VR game. It's been a while since I picked that up.
Yeah, and it's going to be spring break, so this is a really good way to probably these Steam spring sales coming out right about
True.
So, all right, everyone.
Wait. AC Ray says we have a room with 2 uncomfortable recliners. I spend my time in a connected room with an uncomfortable computer chair. Well, then why don't you get a comfortable one? you gotta get a good chair. I'll take an ottoman so I can put my feet up.
Really, really, really want to come over and just bring you all of my furniture. You can have it all.
You shouldn't have gotten him the guitar. You should have gotten him a chair.
Well, that's next Christmas. Next Christmas, you're getting a chair. All right. So, on that note, can we close out this show?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Let's close it out. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 774. We did record this on Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Nick Nicola. Ways to get a hold of us: gamehounds.net is our website, gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, more or less, if I don't have a lot of audio issues, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Facebook, we are facebook.com/GameHounds. YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, VIDS, all one word, as in videos. GameHounds Vids, one word. And on Twitch, we are the GameHounds. Please feel free to join us. We would love to have you be here live. But if you can't be here live, we are also an audio podcast. You can find our audio podcast on iTunes, on pretty much every other syndicator. If you have a service that you get podcasts from that we're not on there, please let me know. You can send me an email at gamehounds@gmail.com. I will get it on there for you because we want to make sure that it's accessible to you. But if you are doing that, wherever you are listening to the audio show, please, please, please leave us feedback. And that goes with the Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, if you're in the channel right now, or if you're listening to us after the fact. Please, wherever it is that you can actually hit a thumbs up or a star or favorite or like or dislike or whatever, subscribe. I would love to have you do that because it does help us get our numbers up and rebuild a little bit after a bunch of years of not building on this show. We would love to have more of you in the chat room. And by the way, thank you to Forget Your Life. Thank you to Corey Wallace. And of course, thank you to AC Ray for being here. But yeah, I'd love to see all of these old names and faces come back. We have been here the entire time and we've missed you. And if you are new to us, we would love to have you join us live. And if you can't, like I said, listen to the show. We are 100% Patreon funded. $1 a month is all we ask to help offset some of the costs and the subscriptions that were necessary in order to do this show. And of course, don't forget, we do have a Discord channel. The Discord is in the description wherever you're getting it. And it's also on the screen right now. Wherever you're getting the show, it is in the description for the show. So please go to our Discord. That's where you're going to find us. It's where you also get announcements for when we go live or when we stream or when we're having any issues or when we go dark or whatever. So join us there. Everyone, have a great week. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week. Good night, everyone.
Night.
And now for the after show, which is nothing.
Oh, I have so many other things I didn't talk about.
No,
This is where we talk about all the movies and TV.
I have been up since 5:30. I need sleep. I need sleep because there is a 13-year-old girl who's coming back, and I need to figure out dinner. And I need sleep.
What did I watch? Silo is very good. I want to watch more on Apple TV.
Yeah,
The
whatever.
Recruit is fun. Night Agent is good.
I saw The Founder not last night, but the night before. Very good.
That's the McDonald's one, right?
Yeah, it's about Ray Kroc.
Okay. Yeah.
I watched some really, really good movies. Also, some really, really bad movies.
Companion in theaters is a really fun one.
Yeah, I haven't seen Companion. I'm not sure if I want to see it. It seems like it's really bloody and slashery, but
It's bloody. It's not slashery.
okay.
It's more sci-fi thriller than horror movie.
Okay, good.
Hard Eyes is really funny, but Hard Eyes is 100% slasher.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No. Yeah, that's
No.
Hard Eyes is the absolute no.
Of the two, I think you would enjoy Companion. Hard Eyes is like way too much in the
Yeah, no, I
horror
knew that Hard Eyes was a bad idea when I saw the trailers for it.
Now, what
Yeah,
did I
Hard
see
Eyes
the
is
other
a no,
day?
and the other big no for me is It Begins With Us, and that's
It
nope.
Begins With Us? I
Or
don't
It
know
Ends
that
With Us.
one.
It Ends With Us.
Oh, yeah, the romance one.
It's not
Romance.
romance. That's the thing.
The domestic abuse one.
It's about domestic abuse. It's about, and that's the thing. It does, and oh my God, so many women went to that theaters thinking it was a rom-com or thinking it was a romance story, and went in there and found out it was about domestic abuse in the middle of the show, and not okay. And that is why Blake Lively is shooing the shit out of everybody and making it like seem like it wasn't her fault. She didn't want to do it because it was
the
just
movie
a bad idea.
Did well and got good reviews. Like,
Yeah. It's a good movie. I mean, it was a good movie, I guess. It was just marketed really poorly. Really poorly. Anyway, you've gotten me off on a tangent. I gotta go.
Wait.
tired.
I just want to see what I
So
saw the other
tired.
day, just for my own memory. I don't remember what did I see. Oh, the monkey. The monkey's
Oh,
really funny. Not
is
your
it?
type of movie, but the monkey's.
Oh, is it? Because I kind of want to see the monkey.
It's okay. In terms of horror movies, it's more Final Destination
Yeah.
than anything else. So it's not like human serial killers. It's
No. That's not the kind of stuff that's gonna give me. What did I see the other night? It was about the shipwreck.
The Damned.
The Damned.
I'm surprised you watched The Damned.
Yeah, of course. I had a nightmares. I mean, I had nightmares about a shipwreck off in the water, just out. You can't see it, but there's like
Oh,
water right here. So
yeah.
I, of course, had nightmares about a shipwreck that night. And I actually, I just had to get out of the bed and go into the other room and sleep on the couch.
Wow.
Yeah, Chris is like, I woke up and you were gone. I'm like, yeah, because I was having nightmares. He goes, really? You were having nightmares over that? I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
But
the monkey and companion should not give you nightmares.
Okay.
There's enough like wry humor to them that like they're less scary.
Okay. All right, everyone. I really, really, really need to. What was that trauma code about?
Yeah, Trauma Code. It's like a show on Netflix, a
Okay.
new Korean drama.
Mm-hmm. Your boy Rockley has been watching K dramas, and I
don't have
don't have
access to.
access to, so I haven't had that. Yeah, Damned was not bad. Actually, it was a very interesting ending. Let's just say. All right,
Yeah.
bye everyone. I need to sleep. I need sleep.
Okay, go take a nap.
Bye. Have a good one. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.